Hey everybody, this is Rustin with Metalholic Magazine, Mojo Radio, and The Examiner, and with me, Geoff Tate of Queensryche. We finally get to meet in person.
How are you?
We've done so many phoners, so...
I'm ready to be examined.
I have to ask you, I was actually talking to Phil Collin from Def Leppard earlier today, and we were talking about his fitness, how he stays in shape, because every time you see him, he's shirtless and he's ripped and everything. You're in amazing shape. What do you do?
Drink too much. Jump around the stage, make a fool out of myself.
Lots of wine, lots of insania.
Wine. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about what we're here to talk about, which is, well, there's so much going on in the world of Queensryche right now. But you've got the new album and everything. But one of the things I wanted to ask you about first is the 30th anniversary tour, which you guys are out on right now.
Yeah.
How's that going so far?
It's going great. Yeah, we're having a great time.
Now, being the 30th anniversary, I know you guys are also, this is the Dedicated to Chaos tour.
Mm-hmm.
Are you like going back through everything and pulling stuff from all of it, or are you?
Yeah, we're playing music from all of our different records. We have 12 studio albums now to choose from. So it's quite fun, kind of looking back at some of that old stuff and trying to wrap your head around, how to play it and what you were thinking about when you were writing it and that kind of thing, And then seeing the audience response, and it's fun. Definitely fun. There was this real debate, like we were picking songs for the album, amongst the band. That, the fans will love this if we play this. No, I don't think anybody's going to know it. No, people are going to love it. And we play the song, and 4 people know the song. But then again, it's fun playing new stuff for people, like if they haven't heard it before.
Right.
It's a challenge to get the song across to people. And oftentimes when you're playing a song, you're there to sell it, really,
right.
And to tell them and explain to them what the song's about really helps. I think every song needs a backstory or something.
Well, from your new album, speaking of new songs, Get Started was used for the preseason for the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. Did they contact you?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they contacted us and said, we think this is the perfect song for us. And I'm thinking, football song, okay, which is great. You never know how your music's going to be interpreted or how it's going to be taken. I don't know if Carly Simon ever thought of that song Anticipation for a ketchup ad, but hey, it worked, didn't it?
Well, let's talk about Dedicated to Chaos because it's fresh on everybody's minds.
Yeah, sure.
Certainly your most diverse, sonically diverse album to date.
Really?
Well, from
sonically diverse?
From from the traditional Queensryche sound, if
Which
you
is
will.
that?
Well, you guys have sort of a signature sound.
Do we?
Yeah, I've always thought so.
The sound or the style of writing?
Well,
like the chord progressions?
Yeah.
Melody?
I'm not the musician you are, so to me it's just sound.
People say that all the time. They talk about the sound. They're not talking about the sound.
The style
sound is something different than the melody choice or the chord progression. That's what makes a signature of a band is how they phrase the melody and the notes they choose. That's typically what you hear. If you're a non-musician, it's hard to explain what you're hearing.
Right.
So you tend to use the word sound, but sound doesn't really describe it. But I know what you mean.
I'm getting a lesson today.
I know what you mean.
So, well, to my ear anyway, it's the most diverse album that you've done in terms of where the music's going and what it's doing, because you guys are really reaching out beyond, to my ears, what you've done before. Was that sort of intentional, or is that just where the inspiration took you?
Well, it's funny, John. When we have done albums in the past, people kind of say the same thing each time. Like when Rage for Order came out, people were scratching their heads going, what are they thinking? What are they trying to do here? Sonically very different than what we'd done previously, And Promised Land, same thing. Where's the guitars? Well, there's guitars on every track, but they're playing in different ways,
right.
And I have to really give credit to Michael for really stretching out on the guitar and using it in different ways than he has in the past, and always looking for different ways to play the instrument, because it's an incredible instrument. You can make it sound, so different, depending on how you play it, what guitar you're using, the effects you're using, the amplifier you're using. it's a real interesting instrument that you can do a lot with. And he was really pushing the envelope with taking it and putting it in different places, you know, using it as a very melodic instrument, you know, concentrating more on melody rather than rhythm, so to speak.
Well, I was going to say on the album, it seemed like there was a lot less rhythms in the guitar area on this album. And Michael, I don't believe, co-wrote any of the songs, so was it odd for him to come in doing...
No, Michael, you know, of 180 some songs we've written, I think Michael's written on 30. And so he's very happy with coming in and playing on somebody else's song and giving it his twist, you know, giving his interpretation. And I love what he does. He comes up with some really cool stuff.
Well, on the new album, listening to it, I mean, you've got Get Started, you've got Hotspot Junkie, Got It Bad, Higher, and I mean, just like the first 4 or 5 albums, there's a lot of funk, there's a lot of groove, even some boogie in there. And if not for your signature voice, I don't know that most people would have picked up on that traditional signature that Queensryche has until you get to like Retail Therapy.
Oh, I see what you're getting at. Yeah. You're looking for the chunk, chunk, chunk guitar.
Yeah, I mean,
You're
it's
looking for the guitar to be playing the bass line. Jump, 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 jump.
But but I also think you're doing a lot more on this album than you've done in terms of where you're going with the sound and the style. I don't think you've ever had the fun, at least to my memory, having, you know, grown up on you guys, you know, a lot of that funk or the groove, or I mean, it's been there.
Yeah, we've been very white.
That's true.
That's true. You know, the term rock and roll originally meant that you rocked on the 4,
Right.
and you rolled on the offbeat. So the music had swing, you know, and we've been definitely playing more rock music over the years.
Right.
And yeah, we've been consciously trying to get the offbeat in there to swing it up, and really, Eddie has been preaching about that for years. Hey, give it some funk, because he's a Mexican guy. You know, he wants to have some, you know, groove to the
Put some
song.
stink on it.
He does, and he plays it really well. And so, you know, he came in. He and Scott came in with a bunch of songs that kind of were the springboard for this album. You know, they had a lot of that feel on it, you know, so it kind of inspired the rest of us to get behind it, you know, and go for it.
Well, it's a very fun album.
Yeah, and that's really what we were trying to go for, because we've been making some very serious records for the last few years, and we kind of wanted to, you know, take a break from that a little bit.
Right.
Kind of have a little fun.
Well, that's what I was going to say. It was like, you know, especially the last album, the topic and everything, the theme of it, American Soldier. You can actually, in this album, not just the songs themselves are fun and more upbeat, but you can feel it in the music, and almost like you can feel you guys playing with more positive energy. It's not such a serious, you know.
Yeah, yeah. And when you have a large discography like we do, and you're putting songs together for a tour, it gets a bit samey having this heavy vibe all the time with the songs. And so it's nice to have some songs that you can go to that are a different feel, you know, to kind of lighten the movement. And that way when you come back to something that's a bit heavier, it has some dynamics to it, you know, with the show.
Right.
I'm saying.
Do you think...
Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Do you think some of the time that you guys spent doing the cabaret show, which was very out there, very fun, very funky, if you will, sort of brought some of that mood into the studio with you when you guys wrote for this?
Yeah, perhaps. Yeah, perhaps. Yeah.
Now-
I never know. You know, we sit down before we make each record, and we kind of make this list of things we want to try to accomplish. You know, sometimes it's just, you know, personal development on your instrument. You want to play your instrument in a different way, so you figure out ways to do that.
Right.
Other times it's like on this album, you know, we wanted to use the guitar in a different way, not having it driving the rhythm.
Right.
Like bass and guitar, bass and drums do that. And then you kind of set these parameters, and then you wait and see what everybody comes up with, and then what you come up with is what you come up with. You know? I mean, you can have kind of an idea of what you want to try to go for, but you never know if you're going to get there until the end. You know, and you look back on it and go, "Oh, okay, yeah, we did some cool stuff here. We tried something different here. We've never done anything like that before." You know, like the guitars doing the horn lines on Higher,
Right.
on the new album. never played a song like that or written anything like that before. And I had a great time multi-tracking the guitar parts so that it emulated a horn section. It was very cool.
Lyrically, I mean, you've always done some interesting things with the lyrics lyrically, but it's usually been very serious on a lot of the stuff that you've done, especially over the last few years. And then coming out of American Soldier, and you and I have talked a couple of times since like late 2009 about Dedicated to Chaos and the theme and everything. And I was really surprised when it came out because they were such serious conversations about such a serious topic. But it came out very tongue-in-cheek. It was very fun the way you addressed it, like with retail therapy, hotspot junkie. And I mean, was that your intent all along, to sort of poke fun at it, or did it change somewhere when you were putting it together?
Well, I don't know what else you can do,
Yeah.
but to poke fun at yourself and your obsessions and things that habits you have. I mean, we all do that. I think to a certain extent. We're also consumed with finding that hotspot so we can plug in to the internet or get what we need done. Or we're so incredibly bored. What are we gonna do? Oh, let's go shopping. Let's fill up the hole. With something. And it's modern life. Modern life really is kind of empty in a lot of senses. It's a lot of time spent trying to figure out how to get from A to B and try to make a living. I think in times past it was perhaps a little easier because there was only a few ways you could make a living, and that's what you did. You took care of yourself, you farmed your land or whatever. And now we don't do that kind of stuff. And we have a population of people that are searching for jobs. They've all been sold off, and our education system has not trained people to keep up with technology and what's happening. So we have a huge sector of our population that they don't know what to do.
Right.
There's no work. So what do? It's serious stuff. But man, talking about it all the time, it can really bring you down. So kind of went the other way with it. Didn't take it all so seriously, but kind of poke fun at some more habits as we do.
Now, I have to tell you, in the 20-some years I've been working for magazines and stuff, the review that I did of Dedicated to Chaos, it's had like over 100,000 hits. It's the most responded to article that I've ever written in all these years, and it's been tons of comments, very polarizing in some ways, because you've got that crux of the old school Queensryche that are stuck in that mindset that anything that's not Line Crime Empire it's just not Queensryche, and how dare they? Where do you think that people get that mindset that artists are not supposed to expand and grow and are somehow obligated?
I'll tell you exactly where they get it. Record companies have compartmentalized music for so many years. They created this idea of selling music by genre.
Right.
So the audience and people bought that. They bought that whole idea. They associate with the genre. They want to be part of a team, a team mentality. So, there's all this marketing that's done to them. They market a lifestyle of rock, metal. This is your lifestyle. And people adapt to that, and they don't like to be told that, well, there's other things. And this band, for instance, can do a lot of other things. We can do many kinds of music. We're musicians. We're able to branch out and try a lot of different stuff. And it's okay. It's okay to like this. It's okay not to like it. It's not the end of the world. It's not brain surgery here. It's art. And art is subjective. And, people are going to experience it with different filters based upon their life experience. So, we don't get upset if somebody doesn't like a song we do. Cool. There's probably a song in all of our songs that we've written that they do like. So great.
Rustin with Metalholic and the Examiner, Geoff Tate of Queensryche. Again, thanks so much for taking the time.
I'm exhausted from the examination.
And we'll look forward to seeing you on stage tonight.